Well, first, congrats on your Dynamo debut this past weekend against Seattle. How much did you enjoy, getting those first minutes with the Dynamo in front of the fans at Charlotte Stadium? And how do you think you can contribute to this team, moving forward into the season?
Thank you very much. And yeah, I was very pleased to get out there. I thought the reception from the fans were amazing. The support from the teammates and the staff was also brilliant. And yeah, just want to hopefully contribute, as much as possible. I'm a striker, so obviously I want to score a lot of goals for the boys. And even when you're not scoring goals, I want to be able to play a part in the team, work hard, be a selfless player, and just hope to contribute with results.
And going into a two-match week this week, how's the team's intensity in training today as you guys prepare for these important matches?
Yeah, the team's intensity has been brilliant. Training's hard, we work hard, everybody puts it in, we all want to win. And we just look forward, to the next game and seeing what the outcome can be and how we can get a result.
And what kind of match are you expecting against Minnesota first at home on Wednesday, and then to close off the week at FC Dallas? This will be your first Texas derby.
Yeah.
At Dallas. Just what kind of matches are you expecting?
Every derby. I'll start with the Dallas one. Every derby, it's a derby. It's important to the fans. It's important to the boys. It's important to both, sides. Both teams, so I feel like be like any other derby. Everyone will be up for it. There'll be passion, there'll be physical, there'll be high tempo and high, intensity and stuff like that. As for the Minnesota game, we've done some analysis on them today, and they seem a very direct team, a very physical team. They're effective from set pieces, long throw-ins and corners, and they're big on first contact and then second contact. So we've just worked on how we can nullify them and impose our game and affect them.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit about the derby, what it means to the team. How much do you enjoy derbies in general from your perspective? Yeah,
I think as players and stuff like that, there's every match has a buzz, but I feel like when it's when there's something to play for, bragging rights, with derbies, there's something, it gets you up just a little bit more for it, and I think we'll go there confident, and we'll just play our game, and that should hopefully get us the result.
Nice. Head over. Alex, do you have any questions?
Coach said this is a pretty important stretch for younger guys, newer guys, with it being so many games. How do you feel about it as far as, he said it's an opportunity for the guys to gain some minutes and compete for positions?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the amount of games and the space of time that we've got, I feel like, it's not just about an 11, I think it's about the whole squad. And, I feel like everybody's got to be prepared, the people that are starting, the people on the bench, because you never know what's going to happen at any point in these games. And I feel like, as I said, it's a whole squad that can contribute. It's not necessarily the team that always starts the game that wins the match. Also, subs have a big impact on the game, and they can change the game, as we saw in the Open Cup game last week. So I feel like everybody has to be ready and prepared, and just wait for what happens next.
Then going into a two-match week, how is the team's intensity in training today as you guys prepare for these important matches?
We're disappointed in the result in the weekend. Again, just circling back on the Seattle game, a terrible call from the referee with the red card, and but those are going to happen in the league and throughout a season. You're going to be dealt some tough cards in that way. The response wasn't good coming out of halftime. We have to be more resilient. We have to be more tough to break down and when we're playing down a man. So it's a chance for us to learn and grow from that moment, as we've had plenty of chances to grow, maybe too many chances to grow here in the early season. But again, I talk about just being teaching moments, and had a good open film session, and usually that leads to a really competitive, intense training. So we went out there, competed. We'll lick our wounds a little bit today and get over it. And the good news is we have a match against Minnesota very quickly, and there's nothing like another match to get over the last one. So we'll start preparing on them here today and really dive into them even more tomorrow, and hopefully we can get back to that good form we had at home.
And what kind of match are you expecting versus Minnesota on Wednesday at home?
Well, they're a very effective team in what they do. They get to goal very quickly, great team speed, service, and they'll allow you to have the ball a little bit. And they're compact, and they're hard to break down, and they're hard to score against. So they know exactly who they are. They know exactly how they're going to score goals. So it's important for us to make sure we identify who they are and try to deal with some of those strengths. But also there's some things that, of course, we're identifying and where we want to go after them and try to have success. So again, no different than every other week, but they've managed to get a lot of points so far, and they have put themselves in a really good spot for a reason.
And Jack McGlynn, added a goal and an assist last week to his tally and continues to create more chances for the team. How important is he to helping the team, secure points moving forward?
Offensively, Jack has been, really impressive. I think moving him up higher towards the goal helps with, obviously helps with goals and assists, and it's part of the reason why he's up there. So now it's still figuring out some of the nuances without the ball, and him, giving, making some better choices maybe without the ball. But that's part of his growth, and for him to get to where he needs to be, we as a staff need to keep pushing him. And he's a great kid, and he's insatiable with information, and he wants to get better. But the talent is off the charts, and it's a lot of fun to work with him and to watch him.
Yeah, and last question for me. The team closes off the week with another Texas Derby in FC Dallas. What kind of match are you expecting from them this weekend?
Well, we haven't done too much work on Dallas, but we know them fairly well, and we understand the problems they pose, and some of it's individual. This Lucho's an MVP player every year in this league, big time forward. They've got team speed. They're gritty, and we had a great match here against them, and it's one we felt like slipped through our hands, and we'd like to return that favor, or at least go get the points that they stole here.
I just have one. You guys have a crazy schedule the rest of this month. I guess, what are you kind of hoping to look like by the end of this month?
Yeah, we hope to have picked up some points, and we're hoping to move up the table, but as we transition and bring some new players in, mostly due to the game every 3 days, you're forced to do that. You're forced to play a lot of guys, so it can be a great thing when you're utilizing, instead of 13, 14, 15 guys, you're using 20 players. You find out really quickly what you got, and it's also a good time to incorporate some of these new guys that are coming out of injuries, or some of the new guys we got from overseas, to get them minutes. Again, so sometimes it's nice to be forced to play players because you find out, and sometimes the answer's within, and it also creates competition and a little tension around here to the guys that are consistently in that 11, 12, 13. So looking to build depth, identify what we have still, and also while you're doing that, one of the most important parts is to pick up some points and try to move up the table and advance in the Open Cup. We have a big game against Austin in May as well that we want to get past and keep pushing, as it's another chance to win a trophy.